Okay, so today we're going to um, dive into something that I think a lot of people struggle with,
Yeah,
and that is how to leverage social media if you're a healthcare professional.
right.
It's kind of a weird world out there because everybody says, oh, you got to be on social media.
Yeah,
But then,
Yeah.
They don't really give you a lot of direction.
exactly.
So we're going to take a look at a 14-day plan that we found.
Okay.
It was put together for healthcare professionals to kind of boost their online presence and their brand.
Interesting.
We're going to focus specifically on week 2, day 14.
Okay.
And this is where things get really interesting because it's not just about like creating content, which is,
Right.
something that everybody talks about,
Yeah.
but it's about actually getting that content seen and shared.
Exactly. And engaging with your audience.
Right.
And seeing what's working and what's not.
Yeah. So to help us sort of unpack all this,
Yeah.
I've got our social media expert here.
Hello?
So let's jump right into this.
Yeah, let's do it.
So this day 14 checklist kind of kicks off by saying, share your content across different platforms.
Okay.
Now, I know we've all heard that, content is king,
Of course.
but it's not like a one-size-fits-all thing.
Definitely not.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't give the same prescription to every patient. So you have to tailor your content to the platform that you're on.
So like, what would be an example of that?
Sure. So let's take Instagram, for example.
Okay.
It's all about visuals there.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
You're going to want to have eye-catching images, maybe some short videos, some quick tips,
Okay.
maybe even a behind-the-scenes look at your work,
Uh-huh.
something like that.
Okay.
Now, if you're on LinkedIn, on the other hand,
Yeah.
that's where you can go a little bit deeper. You can share some longer form articles, maybe some research summaries, some thought leadership pieces,
That makes sense.
more in-depth stuff.
Yeah, and I think, sometimes people think, oh, well, if I just put it out there on one platform, everybody will see it. And it's like, no, that's
It doesn't work that way.
not at all.
Yep.
Okay, so the next thing on this checklist, it says engage with other healthcare professionals.
Yes.
Now, I will admit sometimes I get so caught up in trying to get my own content out there that I forget to
To connect.
actually connect with other people.
Yeah, I think that's a common mistake.
Right.
It's easy to get caught up in your own little silo.
Yeah. So what are some ways that we can do that?
Well, one thing I always recommend is joining Twitter chats.
Oh, yeah.
There are tons of them out there, and you can find ones that are specific to your specialty.
Okay.
You can also participate in LinkedIn groups for healthcare leaders.
Yeah.
And really, it's just about, being active in those spaces, sharing your expertise, learning from others.
Yeah.
And you might even find some opportunities to collaborate on projects.
Yeah, I've actually gotten some of my best ideas by talking to other people
Absolutely.
in my field. And it's like, oh, yeah, why didn't I think of that? Okay, so the next thing on this list, and this is where I get a little bit,
Nervous? Yeah.
I get it.
Analyzing the content performance.
Right.
How deep do we really have to go into the weeds?
Well, I think the good news is that most platforms these days make it pretty easy to track your performance.
Really?
Yeah, they give you all the basic metrics right there in your dashboard.
Okay.
So start with the simple things like how many people saw your post?
Okay.
What was the click-through rate? Did anybody share it or comment on it?
Okay.
And then if you're a healthcare professional, you might also want to track things like website visits,
Yeah. Did it actually lead to
Yes.
people going to my site?
right? Are you driving traffic from social media to your practice website?
That's a good point.
Yeah. And all this data, it helps you understand what's working, what's not.
Yeah.
And then you can refine your strategy.
So it's not just posting into the void and hoping for the best.
Speaking of knowing what's working, this checklist also mentions identifying your top performing content.
Yes.
I think sometimes, something does really well. We're just like, oh, yeah, that was great.
You remember the next one?
Let's move on. But we
Mhm.
should really be paying attention to why.
Exactly. Figure out what resonated with your audience.
Right.
Was it the topic, the format, the timing, maybe the visuals you used?
Uh-huh.
Once you figure that out, you can create more of the content that people love.
So double down on what's working.
Exactly.
And this plan actually encourages you to plan future content
Yeah.
around those high performing themes.
Yes.
It's kind of like riding the wave,
Absolutely.
if there's something that's really, getting a lot of traction, keep going.
Keep the momentum going. And it's
Yeah.
a great way to stay relevant, too.
Oh, so.
Well, imagine there's some big news story that breaks and it's related to your specialty.
Mhm.
If you can jump on that and offer a quick take on it, maybe write a post or do a short video.
Right.
You're showing your audience that you're on top of things and you're adding value to the conversation.
Right. So you're not just like, posting about like your cat.
Exactly.
You're actually like a thought leader
Yes.
in your field.
That's the goal.
Okay, so this is a lot to keep track of.
It can be.
All this posting, engaging, analyzing.
Yeah.
So the checklist actually recommends using social media management tools.
Yes.
Now, I've dabbled in a few of these.
It can be overwhelming.
They're a little overwhelming.
I know.
Do you have any tips for kind of making it less scary?
Sure. So first of all, don't be afraid to start small.
Right.
You don't have to use every feature right away.
Right.
Just pick one or two tools that you think will be helpful and focus on those.
Okay.
For example, Buffer is a great tool for scheduling your posts in advance.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's like a content calendar on steroids.
Okay.
So you can plan out your content for the week or even the month, and it will automatically post it for you at the times you choose.
So you don't have to like be on your phone all day,
Exactly.
every day.
You
Yeah.
can set it and forget it.
That's nice.
Now, if you want to take things a step further, Hootsuite is another great option.
Okay.
It lets you monitor mentions of your brand or specific keywords.
So that's like if somebody's talking about me
Exactly.
or something that I'm interested in.
Yeah, and you can respond to comments and questions in real time.
And so I can like jump into the conversation.
Absolutely.
Okay, that makes it a lot less intimidating.
Good.
And this all leads to the action step for day 14,
Okay.
which is to like actually review all those engagement metrics that we talked about
Right.
and then refine your strategy for the coming week.
So it's a continuous process.
Right, because like you said, it's not just like set it and forget it. It's
Exactly.
like, okay, what worked, what didn't?
Right. And why?
How can we do better?
And this is where those social media management tools really come in handy.
Oh, how
Well, they can help you visualize all that data. So you can see what's performing well, what's not.
right.
And then you can make informed decisions about what to tweak.
So it takes the guesswork out of it.
Exactly.
So this whole 14-day plan was actually created by a guy named Grant McGaw.
Oh, yeah. I know him.
He's been named a top voice on personal branding by LinkedIn and Thunkers 360,
He's the real deal.
which sounds really impressive, but I think some people might not even know what that means.
Sure. So LinkedIn's top voices are basically the people who are consistently putting out great content.
Okay.
They're starting conversations. They're seen as leaders in their industries. And Thunkers 360, they do something similar. They focus on innovative thinkers from all different sectors.
So it's like a stamp of approval.
Yeah, basically.
So if he's putting out a plan, it's probably worth listening to,
Absolutely.
especially if you're a healthcare professional who's trying to, up your game.
For sure.
So I think the big takeaway here is that, as healthcare professionals,
Yeah.
you actually have all the knowledge and tools you need
You do.
to build a really strong online presence.
It's all there.
But the real question is, what makes you unique?
That's it.
What's your story?
What do you bring to the table?
Because that's what people are going to connect with.
Absolutely.
That's what's going to make you stand out.
Authenticity is key.
And hey, maybe you'll even be a top voice someday.
It could happen.
So huge thanks to our social media expert
Pleasure.
for breaking all this down for us.
Happy to help.
And for all of you listening out there, go out there and make social media work for you.
You got this.
Not the other way around.
Exactly.
We'll see you next time.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.